In the 1930s, television was introduced to Great Britain. If dear Daisy Ann was here, I dare say she could tell us about it. In the 1930s, those television sets, don't look at me, I wasn't here, I don't know. The screen was about like this, black and white, very fuzzy. And in those days, the families were rather larger than they are today. The family would gather around that tiny little box, they called it the Boggle Box, and catch what they could of some of the first television broadcasts. But over the years, things have changed. Screens have got bigger, definition higher. And now, in some parts of society, you ain't nobody unless you got one of them new big flat screen, large wall-to-ceiling, floor-to-ceiling screens. Even if your little bedsit room, your studio apartment is 9 by 8 feet, you got a whole wall filled with a screen. And here in Kensington Temple, we have not been outdone, because when the screen behind us was built and assembled a number of years ago, we were told by the people who sold it to us, so we don't know how true it is, that this was going to be the biggest permanent indoor screen in Europe. Well, I don't know about that then, don't know about it today, but I do know it's a big screen. But there's a bigger one. If you go to the Planetarium, you know, next to Madame Tussauds, been to the Planetarium? There, the whole of the dome ceiling is given over to the projection of a vision of the universe. It's almost as if you're in a space shuttle. You can see it there. What an amazing, wide, 180-degree vision. And it reminds me of what the Holy Spirit wants to do in your life and in my life, to increase our vision, to have a large screen vision of who Jesus is, a high definition vision of who Jesus is, because you and I, as human beings, are drawn towards the most dominant vision in our lives. What we see very often is what we produce in our lives. What we see is very often what we follow. And if the vision of Jesus is fresh and sharp and full of color and is clear, then you will be drawn closer to him than ever